Hi everyone, Richard Robbins here. Well, the numbers are in for July. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the numbers for the Toronto Real Estate Board, January through the end of July. Obviously, what did we have? The 15% foreign buyer tax went into place in April. Also, about a week or so ago, interest rates went up about 1/4 of a point. So a lot of things happening right now. And then what I want to do on the second screen, I'm going to show you a comparison of this July opposed to last July. And then what I also want to do is show you the months of inventory in all of the markets right across Canada, so you can see exactly what's going on. Why months of inventory? If you've watched the videos in the past, our supply and demand will, or I should say our prices, will always be based on supply and demand. We have more supply, less demand, prices are going to weaken, okay? We have little supply, strong demand, prices are going to go up. So your price, in terms of the market, is going to be generally determined by your supply and your demand, months of inventory. Example, if you had 10,000 listings and you were doing roughly 3,000 sales a month, you got about 3 months of inventory. So let's have a look. If you look here, sales in January, 5,100. They went up in February to 8,000. March, 12,000. Okay, and then they started to cool. This is where the foreign buyer tax went in, and they went down below 12,000. May dropped a little bit again, okay, just over 10,000. And then in June, you can see, took a pretty good hit in June. And then July, 5,900. Now, I'll show you how that compares to July of last year in just a moment, but we know in the summer it always goes down. Active listings. This is the homes that are on the market at the end of the month. I don't count new listings. I want to know all of the inventory. We had 5,000, 1 month of inventory, right? You can see 8,000 sales at the end of the month, 5,400 listings. We had less than a month of inventory. You can see what's going on here, less than a month. And then April, foreign buyer tax, what happened? Started to rise, 1.1 months of inventory. May, 1.8. June, 2.5. Look what happened in July to 3.1. Now, if you remember in the last video, I said it was probably going to continue to rise. I suspect that'll rise in August as well. And then you can look at average sale price. You see what's going on. You know, 770, 876, 916, 920, 864, 794, 746, starting to weaken. Days on the market. This is always a good number to look at. Average days in the market was 19, 13, 10, 9. Then what happens? Remember, months of inventory starts to rise. What happens? 11, 15, 21. Interesting stuff. So how does that compare to what was going on in July of last year? Last year, we had 9,900 sales. This year, 5,924. Now, keep in mind, this takes over a large geographical area. This is a greater Toronto real estate area. You know, encompasses about 48,000 agents. Active listings were 11,000. Look at up to over 18,000 listings. So you look at it, you say, well, prices were down or sales were down by 40%. This is actually wrong. They were up by 65% sales right here. Months of inventory went up by 2 months of inventory, which is a substantial increase. And from the same period last year, our prices are still up 5%. So what does all this mean? And then I'm going to take you through the numbers of all of Canada. I would suspect, my opinion, in August, we're going to see more of the same. I think we're going to see months of inventory rise a little bit more. Now, are there certain markets that are still getting multiple offers? 100%, right? So the affordable areas are still really active. The higher end areas, much more months of inventory, because every market has what we call a micro market. Condos are a micro market. A geographical area is a micro market. This here is a very broad view of everything going on across the whole Greater Toronto area. What you have to do is look at your micro markets. Look at the months of inventory. Look what's happened with prices in the districts that you're working, because you need to know these numbers upside down and backwards. I call it market intelligence. The public right now, they want to know what's going on. And I'm telling you, if they read the newspapers, they would think the bottom's falling out of the market. It's insane what the newspapers are saying. That doesn't make it true. You need to be the voice of reason. Let me say this. If we're sitting right across Canada, look at the months of inventory. Montreal, 7.9 months of inventory. Now, what's been interesting, this has been going down over the last few months, so it's getting a little stronger. Nova Scotia, 7 months of inventory. It's been going down. Edmonton, Okay, Calgary, 5.4, 4.0. Remember, we had sort of oil prices tanked in here. And this went up a little higher. Now it's come back down. Vancouver, 3.1. Toronto, 3.1. Ottawa's right around 3. Now, when I look at this, what does that tell me? Does that tell me the Toronto Real Estate Board, the whole Toronto area is in trouble and our market's drowning? You know what I mean? Are you kidding me? 3.1 months of inventory. Like, in other words, when we get to 5 or 6, that brings us into a more balanced market. You get above 6, of course, your prices, in areas are going to start to drop where they have those months of inventory that get that high. Here's what I want you to understand. If we look at this, right across Canada, we have got a great real estate market. Yes, it's different than it was. A little more challenging here, but they're heading down. Those months of inventory have been coming down over the last few months. These ones actually have been going up just a little bit over the last couple months. Obviously, Toronto's been going up a little bit. Ottawa has actually been very strong, coming down. I think people that maybe were going to buy here, maybe are buying there right now. And of course, Vancouver's recovered nicely. I mean nicely, from what happened last August with their foreign buyer tax. So here's the deal. I've been getting a lot of feedback, everybody, that people are, responding to these videos, going, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, the market's really, really tough out here. The challenge is most agents have never worked in a normal market, like a market that starts to rebalance. This is a beautiful market. It's an amazing market to work in. Why? Do you think right now for buyers, over the summer and possibly into the first few months of the fall, do you think there's going to be some people that need to sell because they've bought firm? Because everybody was buying firm when there was multiple offers and they were waiting to sell. Do you think for buyers right now, with extremely low rates, historically speaking, there's going to be some unbelievable deals for buyers to be out there shopping around? No question there is. Like, if I was a buyer right now, I'd be out, I'd be hunting, and I'd be looking for that right house at the right price where somebody really needs to get out. What about sellers? Is it a terrible market to be selling your home? 3 months of inventory in Toronto, or even if we look at Calgary and Edmonton? Not at all. That means that if we get 3 months of inventory, when I go to market, 33% of the homes are going to sell. That means when I go to market, I got to look at my competition and figure out what I need to do to be that one to sell. Is the market different? Absolutely, it's different. But guess what the great people do? They adjust to the market. Now, here's the deal. In Toronto, or even you look in Canada right now, we have a lot of real estate agents, okay? A lot of people. And about 25% of our industry doesn't even sell a house every single year. Now, if this market continues to change, are we going to see a lot of people that don't develop their skills, that don't counsel their buyers and sellers a little bit better? Are we going to see them leave the business? And the answer is probably yes, which probably isn't an all bad thing. You know what I'm saying? If we're true professionals right now, I'm telling you, you can capitalize on the market. You can outperform the market. The secret right now is to bring value, is to understand these numbers and have valuable conversations with people where they see that they need your counsel. This, to me, right now, especially in the Greater Toronto Area, is one of the greatest opportunities for you to capitalize on what's going on. Because most people are going to sit back, most agents are going to sit back, and they're just going to wait, they're going to see what happens, but they don't start to understand these numbers, they don't start to develop new skills, they don't start to bring great advice to buyers and great advice to sellers, help people buy, help people sell. They're going to sit back and wait, but not you. Get out there, okay? Make it happen. This is an amazing real estate market to work in. And remember, mindset is everything. I want to tell you a quick story. I know this is a long video. I was talking to Dana Richard, who runs our coaching division. And he said to me the other day, he said, Rich, it's so interesting. I have 2 coaching clients, both in Toronto, both roughly in the same geographical area. He said, one of them's as busy as he's ever been. And he said, the other person is saying nothing is going on. And I find that interesting. So in other words, they're in the same market. They got the same buyers. They got the same sellers that are floating around. They got the same lending rates going on. They got the same months of inventory. Everything is the same. Everything is the same. And one is busier than they've ever been. And the other is sitting around saying there's nothing going on. What's the difference? What is the difference? Mindset. It's mindset. The first person, Dana was telling me, they're out there and they're schooling buyers and they're saying there's probably going to be some decent deals right now. So what we got to do is we got to be out there. We got to be in the market. You know, rates might be going up a little bit more. We need to be locking in rates right now and take advantage of those lower rates. They're counseling the buyers. When they're talking to the sellers, they're saying, yes, the market's a little different right now. You know, depending on what price you're in, you might not get multiple offers. Yes, we're going to have to list it differently than we used to do. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to look at our competition, and we're going to have to price accordingly. So if only 1 out of 3 are selling, you're going to be the one to sell because you said to me, you have to get the home sold because you bought, correct? They go, yes. And that's your job. It's not always giving them information that's going to make them feel good. It's not telling what they want to hear. It's telling what they need to hear, right? Then the other agent that's not doing any business is probably reading the newspapers, right? And making up these crazy stories in their head. And they got the wrong mindset. Right now, the market is full of opportunity for those people that want to get out there and take advantage of it. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. And remember, it's a beautiful life, everybody. Make it count.